So, you're thinking about buying a home in Clark County, Washington? It's a fantastic area, but let's be honest, the options can feel a little overwhelming. Today, we're going to break it all down, looking at some expert analysis to compare three really popular cities: Battleground, Washougal, and La Center. Each one has a totally unique feel, so let's figure out which one might be the perfect fit for you.
Right, so you've picked Clark County. That's a great start. But now comes the really tricky part. Which city is your city? Trying to decide between Battleground, Washougal, and La Center can be tough because they each offer a completely different lifestyle. So let's dive into the details and see if we can find your perfect match. All right, first stop on our tour is Battleground. And when you look at the analysis of this city, two words just keep jumping off the page: space and value. It really seems like this is a place that's growing, but it's still holding on tight to that classic, roomy, suburban feel. And here's what that space and value thing actually looks like. We're talking larger lots, wider streets, a real contrast to some of the more crowded areas. It looks like your money just goes further here when it comes to square footage. And what's cool is the mix. You've got these established neighborhoods from the 2000s right next to brand new construction. That means you get to choose mature trees and landscaping or the latest in modern efficiency. Plus, you're right there next to the Lewis River for all your outdoor fun. That is a huge bonus. So the takeaway here is really simple. If you want the most house for your money, a good-sized yard, and you like that growing suburban vibe, all the analysis points directly to Battleground. Okay, let's head to our next stop, Washougal. And this is a completely different picture. If Battleground is all about that wide open flat space, Washougal is all about dramatic hills and living right next to the water. The keywords here are definitely scenery and access. This really shows off what makes Washougal so special. I mean, it's located right on the Columbia River, so you can find homes with actual river access or incredible hillside views. That's a pretty rare thing. It's clearly a spot for people who love the outdoors. The gorge is literally your backyard. And here's a really key detail. You get all of this amazing scenery for a price that's often much more competitive than its famous neighbor, Camas. So the bottom line for Washougal, this is for someone who really prioritizes the view. If you want to wake up looking at the water and be just minutes from a trailhead, but you don't want to pay that top-tier premium, the data says Washougal is your spot. And for our final city, we're heading north to La Center. The vibe shifts again. The two big themes that define La Center are new and convenient. So if you're thinking about a modern home and an easy commute, this is definitely the one you need to pay attention to. So what's driving La Center's appeal? Well, it's these newer master plan communities, which means modern layouts and great energy efficiency. But the real game changer here is its location. Look how close it is to I-5. That is a massive win for commuters. And you get all that in a smaller, quieter city. So the profile for a La Center buyer is crystal clear. If a newer home, less traffic, and a super convenient commute are at the top of your list, La Center is the obvious choice. Okay, so we've seen what makes each of these cities special on its own. Now for the fun part. Let's put them all side by side and see how they really compare. This chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see the trade-offs so clearly. Ask yourself, do you prioritize getting more land and more square footage for your dollar? That's Battleground. Is it all about the view and living an outdoor lifestyle? That's Washougal. Or is your number one priority a brand new house with a quick commute? Then that's La Center. See, it's not about which one wins. It's about which of these unique identities fits your life the best. Knowing those core identities is a fantastic start. But now, let's get into some of the specific questions people always ask when they're making this exact decision. Let's kick things off with a big one for Battleground. Is it a good place to buy a home? According to the analysis, the answer is yes, absolutely. If you're the kind of buyer who's looking for more space for your money, a good mix of home styles, and that classic suburban feel. Okay, this is a really interesting one. Is Washougal, our scenic city, actually more expensive than Battleground? Let's take a look. This is one of those classic it depends answers. That premium home with a killer river view in Washougal, yeah, that's probably going to cost more. But if you're looking at more typical entry-level homes in town, the prices are actually surprisingly competitive with Battleground. It all comes down to the specific property you're looking at. This is a key question, especially for anyone who wants a move-in ready modern home. So, where are all the builders most active right now? Right now, if a brand new home is your number one goal, the data points you straight towards La Center and Battleground. They're leading the pack with those big, planned communities. But the key thing to remember is that this can shift from year to year depending on where builders decide to focus their efforts.
And now we come to it, the ultimate question, the one everyone secretly wants a simple answer to. After looking at all of this analysis, which city is truly the best? And the most honest answer is this: there isn't one. The best city is a myth. The right city is the one that fits your budget, your commute, your family, and your personal definition of what home feels like. The whole point of this analysis isn't to crown a winner, but to give you the tools to decide for yourself. So hopefully this gives you a much clearer picture of your options in Clark County. Of course, the source for all this great analysis notes that the very best decision comes from a plan that's tailored just for you. If you want to dive even deeper, the expert behind this data, Rob Mourton, is the person to talk to. Thanks so much for joining us.